Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing my monthly reset for the month of March. So basically just getting prepared for the month of March, doing a little bit of reflection but mostly looking ahead in terms of goals for the month of March, planning for the month of March, and then budgeting and everything like that for the month of March. So this is the type of video that is quite common in the sort of lifestyle community at the moment. People like Carter Sullivan, who I like her videos a lot. I think she's one of the main people who sort of started this trend, and I've just been really enjoying doing these videos and I love watching them. So I'm so happy that today is the day that pretty much everybody makes these videos and I can just watch them all day. So yeah, if you like that type of content from me, let me know with a thumbs up, a comment, a subscribe, all of that good stuff. The monthly reset that I do brings in some different elements of planning with regards to like the 12-week year process, which is how I do my goal setting. So I'm coming into the last 4 weeks of this 12-week cycle, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. And because I also use the getting things done sort of task management and project management, that's how I sort of set up all my tasks basically for the month and all of the projects that I'm going to take on. And I'll talk a little bit about that in the sort of planning section. But yeah, I hope you like seeing how I do all of this and how I sort of stay on top of PhD work and business work and brand work and everything, and how it all ties together in terms of what a month looks like in terms of my work. So let's go through the top 3 achievements for the month of February. I found it kind of difficult reflecting on February. I'm not sure why, but I found it a lot easier for my January, like into February reset, than in the February to March reset to reflect. I'm not sure why, but I think if I was wrapping up this month in terms of achievements, what I think focused on more so this month was the business that I run, which is a speech and drama school based in Dublin. And we filled out a lot of our classes this month. We started up a couple of classes, and we did a lot of the sort of renewal work around like policies and like just getting everything sort of cleared in terms of like a refresh of the year for like all of our legal stuff, and just a lot of stuff like that that I feel builds, you know, a lot of tension for me. And I feel like that was a really good thing to work on this month, and just feel like I can go into the rest of the year with a clear head, knowing everything is sort of sorted. It's hard to like quantify or really say what the achievement is there, but that's sort of something that I'm looking back and feeling really glad that this was done. We also took on quite a big project, which was around competitions and casting. We had 2 really big competitions and casting sessions in the last month, which I think has sort of helped with having the students feeling like they're getting to do things. It's been quite difficult in the last obviously 2 years to get out any real performance material. A lot of students missing very frequently with the pandemic, and then also just the overall like lack of time we've had to do these types of things. A lot of students are feeling quite stressed, so I think just being able to get anything out right now is something that we need to be proud of. And looking back at the month, like so many of my key dates were around the business, and I think that definitely sort of shows in the sort of outputs that I had. The next sort of big achievement that I want to talk about for this month, again, it's sort of a weird, sort of difficult to quantify one, I think, compared to last month when I was focusing on my social media more so and there was those sort of like very numeric outputs to look at. This month I've really felt like I've gotten a good handle on my tasks. It's the first time this month has been the first time in I'd say a good year and a half where I really finally feel like I know what I need to do, and when new tasks come in, if they are quick tasks, I'll just do them because I don't want to add them to my to-do list. And I feel like after nearly a year since I've learned about the getting things done method, I feel like I'm finally really implementing it, and I do want to talk about that in a separate video. But I've had that sense of achievement with my tasks a couple of times this month, and I really just felt like it was a big achievement for me because I definitely do struggle a lot with procrastinating important things, and I feel like it has really helped me to just stay on top of things more. Another big sort of achievement I think in the last month, or a big project that I undertook that I felt had really serious, I suppose, consequences in a positive way, was just getting on top of our space. So in the downstairs of our home here, we've gotten a handle on where things go, and then in my family home, I completely cleared out my bedroom, and that's something that I just did in the last couple of weeks, and it's made such a big difference already in terms of how I feel when I am there working and everything like that. And in terms of like the rest of this 12-week year, we sort of still have to work on this room, especially because Jack's back to doing online personal training sessions. So when he has calls with clients, he needs to use this room. So we couldn't have had the bed still made up, which means we need to just find a way to clear this out and then set it up properly as a space that will work for both of us. Just looking at like sort of where I'm at in terms of my 12-week year process, and just sort of reflecting a little bit on what still needs to be done in terms of finishing off this 12 weeks. So this week, so Sunday, the February 28th or 27th is the last day of this sort of 4 weeks of the 12 weeks. And then I have 4 more weeks starting tomorrow, which will end on March 27th. And then basically you have a week off from March 28th onwards to sort of get your next 12 weeks planned before starting on April 4th. So I have 4 more weeks really of the 12 weeks. And I just want to do a quick review of where I'm at in terms of my 12-week year in all the different categories. So business-wise, this next month, we have a number of things on. I'll get to that in the planning in a second, but like some of the main goals were for getting auditions sorted, getting our current classes filled out and full, getting all of our legal things up to date, performances, and getting some like good experiences for the students in terms of going to see performances, and we're definitely on track to do all of that, so I'm not worried about that one. In terms of my PhD, I've definitely been quite slow with this nature paper, but I feel like it will be done by the end of this 12 weeks, but I was really hoping it would be done in the first 4 weeks. So that's just been a bit of a difficulty. And then I've taken on a new project which is around the data that I have, and that's again something that I did want to do for this term, so I'm not sure how far into that next project I'll get. I was hoping again to have both of these done, so it's a bit of a tricky one. I do feel like it's been a bit slower than has been ideal. In terms of the brand, I feel like I'm definitely on track in terms of what I wanted to achieve this 12 weeks, which was sort of just getting a good process for brand deals and being more consistent. So I've definitely let the consistency slide a bit on Instagram since the last month I was focusing on the business more. So in the last 4 weeks of this term cycle, I basically just want to be trying to be consistent with everything. I suppose in January I put some of those processes in place, and in February I put some other processes in place, and it's basically just trying to blend them together now and try and keep it all up. Finances, I think I'll get into in the finances section of this video, but I think I'm doing okay. Again, physical environment, I think we have pretty much everything except for this room sorted, and that's what we had planned for this month. So again, I think we're on track. In terms of relationship, we've got a holiday in the calendar now, and I definitely feel like the last month we didn't really have as good a quality time in terms of like nice dates and stuff, so I do want to focus on that more this month. Family and friends, I think again it was the same thing where we didn't necessarily have the best quality time this month, and I just want to focus on that a bit more again, because January was quite good but February not so much. So I want March to be better for that. And in terms of my hobbies, I had a crap month, like a really crap month. I didn't read anything in full because the book that I started reading really just put me off reading for a while. So again, I do just want to focus more on like a bit of self-care and getting these routines a bit back on track. I think I've done a lot in terms of projects and outputs, but I think the routines have been slipping a little bit this month, and I just want to pick them back up. Same for sort of health and well-being. I say I did about half of what I wanted to this month in terms of that. Personal growth though, I have to say I started driving this month, which was really exciting. And I think the other things in that section I think are going quite well. So basically, in order to be on track, I think for this next month, it's the routines that I need to focus on. I think I already have projects in the pipeline. I don't want to take on any more projects. I'll get into that with planning. You'll see my month for March is crazy busy in terms of projects, and so I do just want to focus on trying to get those routines back up, mainly for like self-care and fun and enjoying the people in my life and everything like that. So let's talk about the top 3 moments of the month. Again, I found it really difficult this month, which I'm sort of sad about. So I definitely feel like I need to reread the book Power of Moments to try and focus on creating those moments in life. I think one moment might have just been like yesterday, which was a day off, one day off that I've had on purpose in the whole month. And it was really nice. Me and Jack went for brunch, and I never get to go for brunch because I usually teach on Saturdays, so it was just really nice. And I had one other day off this month that I had to take because I was burnt out, which is something that didn't go well this month. So I have just been enjoying having full days off where I really don't have business work, I don't have PhD work, I don't have brand work, and I would like to try and focus on getting more of that time, but I don't think that's going to happen this month. Another good moment again was at the weekend where we went to see a play called Portia Coughlin, and it was really dark but really good, and the setting, the staging and everything, the production in general was just really good. And it always just reminds me how much I enjoy going to see live performances. So that's something I have a couple of things booked in for the month of March as a way to still sort of engage in my hobbies, because like once they're booked you sort of have to go and do it, and I think that's sort of an important one. I can't really think of anything else that is like a real highlight, like nothing really jumps out. Of course there was lots of good moments like small in between, but even the ones I talked about I wouldn't have said like was a huge highlight compared to, again, January. I feel like I did just have more really enjoyable moments. So something definitely that needs to be worked on more for the next month. Let's get into planning for the month of March. So the way I do my planning now is I will have my year at a glance, which is where I put all of the key dates for anything that's coming up that's not this month. I'll have things for the rest of the year, basically any key dates. And like the month of March is awful. Yeah, it's terrifying. Almost every single date is a key date. So basically I'm just going to go ahead and put all of those into my calendar. So into like a full page sort of calendar, I'll put all of those in as the important things. And then basically I'll have a look through each of these and I will update my rolling list of tasks. So is there anything in this that will jump to mind that I have tasks associated with this? So for example, I have Pancake Tuesday coming up next week, so I need to purchase pancake mix into the list. I have a couple of key dates around things for the theatre school, for the business, so there's a lot of tasks that I have to add based on that. I have a presentation that I need to give. I actually have 2 presentations that I need to give, so I'll need to put in time for actually making that presentation. I have a couple of birthdays and just general events like that I'll need to purchase gifts for or book dinners for, so again that's to be added in. I'm going to Galway for a couple of days, so I need to book a ticket for the train. I'm going to New York at the end of the month, so we need to book all of that. And if anyone has any suggestions for New York City, we've been a couple of times. We probably won't be doing anything super touristy, but just for like nice coffee shops and places to eat and stuff. So as you can see, it is just a bit of a wild month, and my basic goals in terms of projects and like everything is just not to take on anything else, just to get through what I have in this already and wrap it up, because it's already a lot. I'm a little bit overwhelmed looking at it. I'm not even sure how I'm gonna get through it, and so basically I just want to do this stuff that's in here and then just keep that as the bare minimum. And essentially, yeah, I don't want to take anything else on. I want to just get through all of this. So I'm going to update my task list based on all of these, and that will then become my tasks for the month. I've started to sort of see my task list as like a sprint process, like almost the way you would in computer software engineering kind of thing, that each month I do like sprint planning, which is what I'm doing right now, is like looking at all of the stuff ahead, what I want to achieve in terms of projects, and trying to like brain dump all of the tasks that I could possibly have based on this. And it's been really interesting. I feel like it means that like as I progress through the month, and like it means I can actually sort of get to the bottom of my task list and feel like I've achieved stuff that month. and before looking ahead to the next month and taking on anything new. So I'm going to do that now. So the total then that I've left with is 19 projects and 44 tasks. A lot of these are like quicker tasks and a lot of them will take longer. And again, it's still a lot better than when I started things out and I was having hundreds of tasks on the list. So I'm feeling like, yeah, it's a bit overwhelming to be starting from this place, but I'll try and get through a lot of them this next week. And then, you know, there will be a process of adding more tasks as it goes along. I do have to like update my task list because right now I've just chucked them all in, and later on when I'm doing a bit more of like the weekly planning, I will go back and like reorganize them a bit. Before I get into the spending and budgeting, I'm just coming in hot with a quick disclaimer, seeing as I am going to be sharing, you know, my earnings and everything like that, you know, I'm really not doing this to be bragging, and, you know, no one's ever accused me of that. I do feel like financial transparency is so important when you're sharing things like this online, and I feel like I get a lot of, you know, people talking to me about the fact that they want to start social media and, you know, do different things on top of their PhDs, and I feel like when I was starting out, I wish somebody of my channel size had shared what they were earning so that I had a sense of what I could do. But, you know, I'm also not saying that anybody should do that. I work a lot more than the average person, and, you know, I earn money based on that, but it's not necessarily something that I would advise. Just check out my recent burnout video if you're thinking that that is something that I advise. Anyways, enjoy. So the next thing that I'm going to do is budgeting. So again, I like to do budgeting after I've done all my planning, because I'll look at all of the stuff that I have going on and be able to see, okay, what do I have in terms of events and what money do I need to set aside based on that, basically. So firstly, I'm going to just look back at the budget for February and see how I did. I'll go through my plan in terms of budgeting for next month as well. So rent and bills was exactly as budgeted, so 1,050 for rent and bills, and that is what I spent. And that's going to be the same for next month. We didn't spend anything on homeware in February, and that was planned. And next month we will be doing some work on this room, so as I mentioned, so we will be putting €200 each into that. Budgeted 240 for counselling, spent 240 for counselling, budgeting another €240 for counselling. And if you're doing your budgeting as well, just be aware that March is sort of a 5-week month. So it starts on 28th, the Monday tomorrow, the February 28th, and for me ends on like April 3rd. So I sort of see it, if the Thursday falls in the month before, that's the week that it's associated with. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully that makes sense. So the Thursday, like if it was just Monday to Wednesday, I would potentially consider that part of April. But anyways, so I consider this a 5-week month, and it means you just have to be careful with spending because you'll have more expenses in a way. Perfect. So gym membership, €59, budgeted, €59 spent, 59 to be spent for next month. So, you know, it's sounding like I actually did quite well. I didn't spend any money on my bike. Taxis, I spent €10 and I had budgeted 0. So you look, that happens. And Leap card, which is like my bus fare, I budgeted 20 and I spent 25, and I've just budgeted 20 again for next month because I didn't actually spend all of that money on my Leap card. I just topped it up recently. Groceries, I'm happy that I got it down from the previous month. So I budgeted 220 and I spent 220. So I'm happy with that. And I'm going to put it down again a bit for next month to €200 because I am away at the end of the month. So yeah, pharmacy, I spent 350. I wasn't planning on spending any, so that's not a huge deal. But this is the next sort of section where it gets a bit wild. First of all, entertainment subscriptions, budgeted 6, spent 6, so that's good because it's down from €70 the month before, and next month I also plan to spend the same. Bar, so going to bars just for drinks, I budgeted €40 and I spent €121.73, which is a lot more than anticipated. Not great. And I've put down €100 this month because I know that I have 1 or 2 events that I will be spending money on it. But yeah, that's like up quite a lot. So when my budget doesn't work out like this, basically I take out money from my short-term savings, and that just means I now don't have as much of my short-term savings. So in total, I think I overspent like €175 on fun things. So that came out of my short-term savings for things that I want. And I overspent €45 on things that I needed. So that came out of my needs budget, basically my needs short-term savings. Takeaway, again, I budgeted €60. I spent €88, which was because I had a couple of days where I did order takeaway just for myself, which I shouldn't have, but I also sort of needed to just to get some good vegetables and stuff in. So I'm not mad at myself, but I wish I hadn't, I guess. Then March, I have that at €100. That's actually, oh no, I don't. I have it at €50. I was going to say that's a lot higher than I feel like I need. €50 I think as well is probably still quite high, so I'm hoping I won't spend that, but we'll see. Eating out, I had budgeted €150 and I spent €167.50. And part of that was just from like ordering dinners and lunches and stuff in university because I hadn't necessarily meal prepped for Friday, or I'd forgotten my lunch sometimes. So I think 5 times I did that, so that would have been like €35 that I could have saved if I had just brought in lunch. And so I put that down to €150 again for next month. Coffee, then I had €15 and I spent €25 because again I got more coffee in university than I sort of expected to. And I have that down to €15 again just because I don't want to be doing that too often. YouTube expenses, I had $275, and that's because I did a big website purchase cost. So that I budgeted $275 and it ended up being $261. And next month I have it up at about €350, and that's because again I have a big expense coming through for TubeBuddy. I got like the Legend version, which I'm not really sure if I really needed, but anyways, I got that, and at least it's sort of a tax deductible. My phone, budgeted €35, spent €35. Kindle, budgeted €100 for that purchase and spent €100, and I don't plan on spending any books money this month because I didn't read any of the books that I have, so that's great. I put €31 down for holidays for Rome, and next month I'm going to spend about €300 because we'll be booking all of our activities, and so that money is going to come out of the short-term savings that I have for that kind of thing. Similarly, we have New York trip coming up. I have €900 down for that, and I really hope I spend less than that. We're there for like 6 days, and I've already done like flights and accommodation, so this will be like spending money. So again, that's going to come out of my wants savings. Birthdays, €200, that's going to come out of my wants savings. Then I have driving lessons, €45 was spent last month, which was unexpected because I didn't know I was going to start driving lessons that month, so that came out of my needs. And I've got €180 down for that this month. And then I also added a new category, which was going to see plays. I put down €100 for this month. I feel like it's probably not going to be that much, but I just wanted to set aside some money for that. So that's in total spending for this month, €4,175 budgeted. Now, €1,400 of that is stuff that I've saved for. The driving lessons is something I've saved for, so that's coming out of my needs, and so is the homeware stuff for here. So I just want to add up like what is the money that I'm actually spending versus is an expense. So like the €350 website fee is also going to come out of my needs because it's something that just comes up like once a year and I set aside money for it. So €2,080 basically stuff that I've saved for, and then the remaining €2,100 is stuff that's just normal monthly expenses, which is a lot. So it's something I do want to try and reduce, but at the same time, like there's things like counselling, which is €240 a month, that I don't want to give up, and my gym membership, which is expensive, I don't want to give up. I'm sort of in a bit of a torn one because it is stuff that I can afford to do and still manage to save. So then in terms of income for the month, I have €1,541.66 for my stipend. So that's a tax-free stipend. It's the same every single month. For my extra teaching hours that I did with my university, that was €364.98. And that will get taxed, so that has already been taxed. That's the net pay. Same for work that I did with the business that I run. It was €1,015.49, and that has already been taxed. AdSense was €296.60. I've actually been being taxed on that money over the last like 6 months and not realized that I wasn't meant to be, like taxed from the US, not from Ireland. So I'm probably due around €400 or €500 back in tax, but I haven't figured out like how to get that back yet. but that's not coming into this month anyways. Sponsorships and affiliates, the total for this month was €660. And then total this month for Notion sales was €836.38, which is I'm really happy about, because last month it was like €1,231 and I was expecting it to go down a lot in February, because I just figured it was a lot of people purchasing for the new academic year, or the new year, not the new academic year. And to be honest, I think it would have been a little bit higher this month, except for that the site that I do the sales through was down for like 6 or 7 days. So that meant that there was a good while where nobody really could purchase it. So I think it could have been closer to €1,000 this month, which would have been great. So I've put this into the March column because this is basically the money I have coming into March. All of this gets paid at the end of February. So I just take that in. That goes into basically the next month. So one thing I have to mention with the sponsorships, the Notion template and the AdSense revenue, which was in total for this month, the total was about €1,800 from YouTube and brand work in general, which is a lot. And I'm really thankful to everybody who's been involved in my channel in any way, like by liking and commenting and just sharing anything. And, you know, purchasing the Notion templates, like, it helps me so much. So I have to say a huge thanks to everybody. But basically that money is not taxed, and so at the end of the year I'll do a tax return where I input all of that into revenue, which is how we do tax in Ireland. And I think a good proportion of it is going to be taxed at the 40% bracket. So basically I need to start setting aside some of that money every month for that. I think in total it'll probably end up being that it's around 33 or 35% I end up paying overall on the tax. I should probably be setting aside around €600 out of that €1,800 for taxes. Now, the other last bit of income that I had for this month, which isn't a normal income, it's not really even technically income. I got a huge tax back return from doing revenue, my tax return for last year. And that's because in the time that I was doing my internship, I was being emergency taxed, and then I didn't have enough like payments throughout the rest of the year to get that back during the year. I also had like money back from claiming from health insurance, and then also from flights that got cancelled. So in total, I ended up getting money back of €2,392. So in total, the money going in for like March is €7,107.11. But if we look at the actual what I earned, it was €4,715.11. So in terms of the expenses that I mentioned, some of those will be joint expenses for me and Jack. And I now have a joint account that this stuff comes out of. So in terms of the general expenses, about €1,550 from that will be going into our joint account. So that's leaving us with €5,557.11. Yeah, so another €550 is going to be my own expenses, and that'll just stay in my checkings account. And then the remainder is €5,000, which needs to be budgeted. So €1,000 is going to be going into the mortgage fund. I don't need to put any money into my emergency fund because I've already fully funded that. And then €400 is going into my wants category. And then the remaining €3,600 is going to go into my needs category. And that is because basically the $2,200 or the $2,400 that I got back from revenue and other things is going to go into that account for a short-term savings for this year, for the end of the year, when I will need to pay taxes and also contribute to my pension. So my goal for this account for the end of the year is to have €1,500 saved for taxes and pension contribution. And the way it works in Ireland is at my age, I can put 15% of my income into a pension fund, and that is tax deductible. So I'll get 40% back of the 15% that I got in, provided I'm on the 40% bracket for enough of that, if that makes sense. So essentially I want to have 15,000 in there by the end of the year, and currently I'm putting in this month 3,600, and out of that I will be taking out a good bit. So The total I think at the end of this month that I'll have in that account is €5,000. And because I have other money in there that is for like other things I'll need, like health insurance and potentially braces, a couple of things. So I do really need to start like setting aside a good amount each month for that account if I want to get to 15,000 by the end of the year. Then in terms of my wants savings, I put 400 in there. So that's a total of €1,400, and I'm going to spend all of that this month. And basically I have to start from scratch next month, even though I'll end up actually also spending all of the money that I put into it next month probably. So not a great start, but anyways, look, that's where we're at. And yeah, as I said, €1,000 gone into the mortgage fund. Again, mortgages, I don't know what my goal is for that account, because in theory I should be able to just like save up, you know, €35,000 and get our joint mortgage, which would be like 350,000 we'd be able to have. And it's, I guess, not super realistic in Ireland, because the mortgages, you get 3.5 times your income, but nobody can afford basically a house for that amount. Because like that would mean our total price for a house would be 385,000 or something. And where are we going to find that, you know? So I don't know what my goal is for that. Probably need to start earning a lot more money if I want to buy a house. Yeah, but that's pretty much it for the budgeting. Okay, so that is it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you're doing your monthly reset activities, I'd love to hear how you got on in the comments below. I literally love watching this type of content, so if you do like it, just, you know, let me know with a comment or a thumbs up if it's the type of content you like to see on this channel. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks to all of my wonderful members, and I'll see you all in the next video.